Peace, peace. Ali, coming back at you with another video. And in this video, I want to address the question, does diet affect your spiritual growth? All right, so this may be a somewhat controversial video. You may disagree, that's fine. You can feel free to leave your comments below. But I want to speak about diet and the effects on your spiritual growth. Now, the first way I want to address this is when we think of spiritual growth and development or enlightenment, we can look at two main sectors, and that is religion and just spiritual civilizations or spiritual cultures. So religion is pretty easy. Major religions, Islam, Judaism, Christianity, etc., just the major religions, orthodox religions. Spiritual cultures, when I say that, I'm speaking of shamans, priests, psychics, intuitives, monks, and just figures like that, like certain sectors of the community or certain sectors of a culture that come together, have their own practices, have their own rituals, and with that, they all have their own form of diet. And I'm not going to break down each one, but this is something you can research very easily. Look up diets of Christians, diets of Muslims, diets of monks. What do shamans eat? What do priests eat? You can Google and see that most of the subcultures that I'm speaking of, they all adhere to a particular diet. They all have certain foods that they ate and consumed on an everyday or regular basis. And they all have certain foods and drinks that they did not consume. You know, the most popular figure in Christianity is Jesus, whether you say he's a real person or not. But in that story, Jesus fasted for a certain amount of period before he began teaching. And if you look at it, most religions and most spiritual cultures, they all have a period where they don't consume food. So when you put all this together, every major religion adheres to a certain dietary regimen. Every spiritual culture, shamans, monks, priests, etc., all that adhere to a certain diet. When you put that together, and from my own experience, I can safely say that diet does affect your spiritual growth. Now, I'm not going to say that it's going to negatively mess you up, where if you consume something that doesn't resonate with your spirit, that you're going to totally be mundane and not enlightened or spiritually vibrating on a certain level. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is that your diet, what you put into your body, whether it's food, drink, vices, or whatever, is going to have some sort of effect on you. Now, for each person, this will differ. One of the examples I like to use often is if you're naturally very psychic, or you're naturally have a lot of mediumistic abilities, meaning that you can communicate with the deceased. A lot of those people, if you look at them, they're very much like kind of overweight, or they're holding on a lot of excess fat. And that's because they are naturally intuitive and psychic, where they have to eat a lot of dense food to kind of tone down. You know, look at a lot of popular mediums and a lot of popular psychics. They usually consume heavier, dense food because it lowers their vibration and they're not open as much. But on the flip side of that, if you have a regular diet, like a standard American diet, go 2, 3, or 7 days without eating. Go in a juice fast, and you will notice how your psychic perceptions are open. The first experience I had with my grandmother, peace and blessings be upon her, after her transition, the first visitation that I vividly remember, it happened during a 7-day juice fast. I believe I was on a third or fourth day, and my grandmother, peace and blessings be upon her, vividly came and visited me in my dream. You know, we had interactions, and I'm not going to share what happened, but we had certain interactions where she let me know that she was okay. And this happened when I was on a juice fast. So I had to raise my vibration by not consuming food in order to meet her where she was so we could have that interaction. So once again, I've noticed in my own life when my diet was completely out of whack, how I felt more lethargic, how my mind wasn't as clear, how I felt more spiritually weighed down. Like, most people don't even recognize this because you are continuously consuming the same things for an extended period of time. Evaluate these things for your life. Experiment on yourself. Then you don't have to rely on me. You don't have to rely on the next person to tell you if the diet affects your spirituality. And until next time, this has been Ali.